Kingdom Hearts seems to be one of those titles that you're either obsessed with or you have absolutely no idea what's so special about the series in the first place. My hope is to try to figure out what that charm is. What's up everyone? I'm Fritzy, and this is Life's a Video Game. Huh?
Hi!
Full disclosure, I really don't care about Disney characters or their movies.
I would have to disagree with you there, sir.
Oh, that's my wife, by the way.
Hey, how's it going? So I hear you don't like Disney. What's your argument? Let's talk about it.
Hell yeah. Well, I don't hate them, but for the most part, they're just meh. Though, I'd say I quite like Aladdin. Oh my god, this is crap. If you're already somebody who loves the Disney movies, then you'll probably already enjoy these games. But for me, the Disney stuff doesn't make me want to jump up and down and buy the game. Still, there's something intriguing about the cover art for these games.
Alright, let's take a look.
So, in the background, we can see a luminous, heart-shaped moon.
It kind of gives you an alluring feeling.
Next, we can see what would be assumed to be the three main characters of the game, along with the less cartoony version of Donald and Goofy.
I don't know. I have this feeling like you have a problem with Disney. Do you?
Perhaps. Mostly, they're fine. I just don't love their stuff, you know? Bottom line is, the cover art shows that there is more to this game than your typical Mickey Mouse romp. Agreed.
Okay, next, let's look at the opening scene of the game.
What looks like to be the main character, Sora, is saying random lines about dreams, or is that what it is? I don't care. But he's sinking into water and he's hopping around all over the place, and his other friends show up, and modern contemporary movement thing, showing the dynamics of Sora and his pals, who are, by the way, Sora, Riku, Kairi. Got it memorized.
Actually, Sora has really long eyelashes. In all seriousness, I do like how the game starts off with Sora asking these questions. You kind of get a feel of what the game is about without actually spelling it out for you. Also, the song is quite fitting for the game. It kind of sets the tone for what's to come.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of has this pop kind of sound to it. This opening also reminds me of Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there.
I don't have a deep love for Disney, but I can absolutely tell you that I have a love for Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VI, anyone? You see, Final Fantasy typically has darker themes, with deep character motivations and consequences. The tone is far heavier and the story isn't just spoon-fed to you.
Here's the thing, Final Fantasy games are more directed to older teens and young adults, whereas Disney is marketed towards the younger generation. Kingdom Hearts, on the other hand, is then marketed towards both the young and the old.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I'd agree with that.
Although, I must say, Kingdom Hearts can get pretty darn dark.
Fair enough, but hold that thought for a sec. Let's check out the opening area of the game. To be honest, gameplay-wise, this opening area is not great. That being said, this is a PS2 era game. That's like complaining that your grandpa sucks at using Instagram. Though this area is kind of a drag, you get a reasonable tutorial on how fighting mechanics and character interactions work.
It also teaches you how to platform. Actually, let's not talk about that.
Okay, again, this is still a PS2 game. Please understand. One thing I really love about the opening is it sets the standard for this game as its own unique story. Anything that is Disney or Final Fantasy is an added element. In other words, the game is its own unique entity.
I mean, yeah.
Hell yeah.
The opening establishes the relationship between Sora and his friends. You'll see a bit of a rivalry between Sora and Riku, and what seems to be a possible love triangle with Kairi. Oh, the drama. But that's all you really need.
After you've done a few in-game tasks, you'll be treated with a few character building scenes. It seems as if you're stuck here on this island and they want to know what else is out there. You'll also be introduced to Donald and Goofy for the first time. Apparently Mickey is the king of this world and he's, well, peaced out. Something to do with a top secret mission? Back to playing as Sora, you'll soon wander into this cave, an art-filled room where Sora and Kairi will bond over cave drawings. Kinda reminds me of a scene in another game. Then, an ominous voice, some dude in a hood, is rambling on about how this world has been connected. He says a bunch more riddly-like stuff and mostly scares the crap out of Sora.
This would be that darker, more mysterious element that I was referring to earlier.
Yeah, I also get the sense that one of the main themes is about connection. Connection with other worlds, places, and other groups of people, and the interconnection with each other.
Right. One of your main goals on this island is to build a raft. Reason being is to escape the isolation and see what's out there. Also, something about Riku drifting away.
Back in Mickey's castle, you're shown a letter Mickey wrote to Donald. Stars have been going out, which means you can make the assumption that these stars are other worlds.
Bye-bye worlds! Setting the stage for what's about to come. Donald and Goofy are sent on a mission to find someone with the key.
Back on your island, a storm is brewing, and these funky little creatures show up. You meet up with Rico, and he starts talking about how the door is open and that they can now go to the outside world, and something about not being afraid of the darkness. I think Sora's like, what the hell?
Riku then takes off and somehow you get this thing called the Keyblade. Then you head back to the cave area where you find Kairi to be in a zombified-like state. You reach out to her, but it's no use.
You're then pulled into a warped dimension of your island, and hello, a big, dark, scary monster thing. You know, typical everyday stuff. You fight it a bunch, sort of defeat it, then you get blasted away.
Then we see Donald and Goofy pointing at the sky, and they're freaked out as they see another star go out.
Yeah, me thinks the star is your island. Bye-bye.
Donald and Goofy head off to find what they're looking for, and Pluto runs off and finds you passed out in the back alley.
Somebody had a little bit too much to drink.
Stop that.
Oh, yes.
So rude of you.
No, I apologize. You're in a new world called Traverse Town.
Oh, new world.
Yeah, not exactly that, but sure.
That was so rude. This area will be your hub world from now on. You now start wandering around and trying to figure out what's going on.
You'll soon see that folks are being turned into those funky little creatures like from before. You're now stuck fighting them while wandering around trying to figure out what in the world is going on.
As you continue to search for something, you'll see quick scenes of Donald and Goofy searching the area as well. They'll walk into the room just as you leave it.
The nice thing about this area is you'll start getting a rhythm for how the in-game battles work. This game is an action RPG. Not that I have anything against turn-based RPGs, though I just prefer the faster paced action that this game has to offer. At first your abilities are somewhat limited, but as the game progresses, you continue to unlock quite the assortment of actions to help you get through each encounter. One major thing I love about this style is that you have the option to dodge attacks. I find you can be much more strategic when figuring out how to approach and defeat your enemies.
As you're wandering around and taking a tour of this town, you'll bump into quite a few Final Fantasy characters. One character in particular is a guy named Leon. He knows something about the Keyblade and will attempt to take it back from you. And in the meantime, Rico wakes up in another world, where he's found by, guess who?
Back to Sora, you find another Final Fantasy character named Yuffie taking care of you. Apparently Leon was trying to take your Keyblade away, and that's how these nasty little creatures were able to keep finding you. You also find out that you have this Keyblade because you're some type of chosen one.
How does one become the chosen one?
I'm a Keyblade.
No. You're not allowed.
I'm okay. Those creatures that have been attacking you are called the Heartless.
You're told that everyone has some kind of darkness inside them, and the Heartless are formed from that darkness.
You then learn about a character named Ansem who might have something to do with this, but you do know that the key is the way to defeat the Heartless. Also, something about the key chooses its master. I swear I've seen this in pulp culture before. Something something ring, something something wand,
Eventually, after fighting a bunch more of these Heartless, Donald and Goofy meet up with you. Well, fall on you, but close enough.
They have found the key and the key wielder, you, Sora, and now you're in a boss fight.
Donald and Goofy join up with you to fight. Donald acts as your magic user. Hint hint, nudge nudge, the mage-like clothing. And Goofy is the defensive powerhouse guy.
Dang, son, who knew Goofy was so dang strong?
Both Donald and Goofy will assist Sora with battles, as well as heal Sora when his life is in danger.
They are now an essential part of the team. They ask you to go with them to other worlds as they're gonna have to clean up the mess of whatever the heck is going on.
We're then shown a scene with some familiar Disney villains. Dun 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 dun. Led by none other than Maleficent herself.
Maybe you might have heard of her before.
It's awesome, as this is a great way to connect all the Disney movies into a much more wild and crazy adventure without seeming forced.
Stage is now set. You're on an adventure to find your friends while at the same time making new friends, Donald and Goofy, who are on a mission of their own.
This somehow, yet amazingly meshes Disney and Final Fantasy into its own unique story about friendship, connection, and other worlds.
You'll travel to other Disney worlds and help solve this insane mystery of the Heartless and the Kingdom Hearts itself.
We want to continue on about this game and all the others, but we wanted to give a mostly spoil-free look at why this game is so special in the first place.
Our hope is, if you've never played this game before, that this introduction might be all you need to get interested in what the rest of the game and series has to offer.
By no means is Kingdom Hearts an example of a perfect game. As the series continues, some of the story elements get somewhat convoluted.
With possibly the biggest issue is the naming of most of the games. That being said, don't let it stop you from enjoying the charm that is Kingdom Hearts.
This this is only part 1 of a much bigger series that Fritzy and I are trying to put together.
In the next episode for the series, in part 1.5, we'll be going over Kingdom Hearts 1 spoilers and taking a quick look at the other 2 games part of the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 collection. Until then,
We'll see you in our next video.
peace. Boom.
High five.
Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe.
I thought we were gonna do our handshake.
My darling. Oh, scrumptious.
That's such a gross word.
Scrumptious.
That's a wrap.